Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on using LinkedIn to grow your business. I'm Peter Talion, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County. I'll be your host today, and our presenter is Lorraine Duncan. More on Lorraine in just a moment. First, some brief information on SCORE. SCORE is a nonprofit national partner of the Small Business Administration with over 10,000 volunteers nationally. SCORE Fairfield County has about 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer three primary value-added services to small business owners. Number one, free one-on-one counseling, face-to-face, video, telephone, email, which can be accessed via a Request Mentor link on our website or via the link on the screen. We also provide educational workshops and webinars, over 100 a year, and we have extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts at your disposal. Our next live webinar is Tuesday, November 19th at noon, and the topic is 12 Steps to a Successful Business, with Cliff Anitko presenting. Look for the specifics on fairfieldcounty.score.org. We also have a large number of recorded webinars on our website that cover a wide range of business topics. These can be viewed at any time by clicking On Demand Webinars. Some useful information about today's event. We have set aside time for Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, please use the Q&A button at any time during the presentation. It's at the bottom of your screen. Our webinar will end sharply at 1 o'clock to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next day or so. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Lorraine Duncan. Lorraine has over 30 years in business marketing and consulting experience. She runs her own digital marketing agency, BizGone Social, where she advises small businesses on how to utilize social media in their marketing and guides them to online marketing solutions. Lorraine is an author of the book Shout It Out, a social media marketing guide for business owners. Currently, she teaches courses on social media and also speaks to groups. Lorraine is known as the LinkedIn Super Ninja. She knows full well how to win on LinkedIn and will teach you how to use LinkedIn for your business. It's now with great pleasure I turn over the webinar to Lorraine. Go ahead, please.
Okay, well, thank you and welcome everyone. And I really appreciate you spending some time with me during your lunch hour today. And I promise that you will learn some things today. So pretty much Peter said everything. And it's like, I launched my business in 2013. I authored Shout It Out. This is my family. I wanted to just like place a real person. This is my 4 children, adult children. And at any time I can forget their birthdays. And this is the cover of my book. It's actually, I believe it's either listed for 99 cents on Amazon or it might even be free now. I'm not even sure what they did yet. So, feel free to pick it up. And if you have like Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. So what we're going to learn today is making LinkedIn profiles client attractive. And that's important. The word client attractive is very important if you're a small business. And we're going to learn how to make some time for LinkedIn. We're going to learn how to reach out to your target market. And I have some growth hacks at the end that I always like to share. So this happens on LinkedIn every 90 minutes. I'm not going to read it. It's just some statistics. It's a place, if you're B2B, that you really should be on LinkedIn. So, don't dismiss it. Don't think that nobody's on it because there's a lot of people on it. And the average income is about, anywhere from 75,000 to way into the 300,000. So you've got the corporate people that are on, and then you also have people in the mid income. So it's a place to be, especially if you're B2B. So just a few other stats, you can screenshot this, but the one that I really like is the 50% of LinkedIn members report they are more likely to buy from a company they engage with on LinkedIn. And that's a pretty accurate and great statistic. So there are three kinds of LinkedIn users. They're the ghosts, they don't engage or post or connect. Then there's, of course, those recruiters and job hunters. And then, of course, there's the superstar. And today I want to encourage you to be a superstar of your LinkedIn profile. So let's talk about making LinkedIn profiles client attractive, okay? And a couple times I'm going to go off the presentation on this, so it's a little quirky, so bear with me on this. But making making your LinkedIn profiles like really important, and a couple things that we're going to talk about why we should complete our profile. And here's an interesting thing, and at least that's a fact for me. And when I talk to my other colleagues, they say the same thing. When I connect with somebody, I actually read your profile. So if after this webinar today, you want to connect with me, before I connect with you, I'm going to read your profile. And here's the honest truth. If it's not complete, or if it's, you only have like one connection and you have no pictures or anything on your profile, I'm probably not going to connect with you. So I'll tell you later though how to connect with me if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn. So you want to complete everything in your profile. And so here's some important elements, and then I'm going to go off the screen, but I just want to share this. You want to have your photo. Please take a screenshot of this because it's faster than doing notes, but photo, headline, current job, and title text. You want to link some media stuff. You want to have a summary. You want to have at least three previous experiences if you have that much. If you're young, the first one is great. Your skills, your education. You want to have some recommendations, and you want to have at least 50 contacts. And you also want to have a tailor-made LinkedIn profile URL. So I'm going to go off, and then I'll come back to this. So I'm going to go off the screen right now and go right to my LinkedIn profile, so I can just and I had this open. So hold on here. Let's just share my screen again. Sorry about this. It's not a fast way. I need a dual screen. All right. So um, this is my profile. And I am in the middle of rebranding a little bit. So I am reaching out a lot to restoration companies. So I kind of changed this a little bit, but it's still my brand colors, and I'm still a CEO of Bisgone Social, and Bisgone Social still is running. So mainly, you just want to make sure that this is not the LinkedIn picture, okay? Or banner, I should say. You want to make sure, like, I kind of tailor-made mine. And if you're looking at my profile for the first time on LinkedIn, there'll be a place where there'll be a bell here, okay? And if you ring the bell, basically, you will get notified every time I post information. And I do on occasion post some relative information, and I pretty much try to engage as much as possible on LinkedIn. And so you want to make sure, here's my pet peeve is like, I don't want to see in a profile picture. You need to have a profile picture. And I don't want to see food pictures. I don't want to see a picture of your dog. And I don't want to see a selfie. Because here's the thing, if you take a selfie, it kind of elongates your body and it makes it look weird. So I really recommend if you are a business owner get a professional shoot done. And I mean, it costs anywhere from like 500 to $1,000. And sometimes, like at some job fairs and stuff like that, you can get some free profiles, pictures done by a professional photographer. And it's just because they catch things that you can't do with a selfie. So I recommend that. And then I recommend making this area complete. Okay. So basically you're gonna, like I put LinkedIn Super Ninja because I'm more known for my LinkedIn expertise, but I also have my companies here, and then I talk about who I serve. I also talk about, that I'm a social media speaker and trainer, and I'm the author. And I change this. I change this all the time just to keep it fresh. And but see how it's not like I'm not looking for a job here. I want when somebody comes to my profile, I want them to do things. I want them to engage. Okay, now you're seeing the dashboard here. So this is the back end of my website, but you want to complete your about. Now this is not a resume. Okay, don't if you're a business owner, don't use the about section as a resume. Make sure that you are making it again client attractive. And I just want to show you a couple things on here. And I changed this a little bit, but I have a special tool that actually can bold stuff. And I added a why work with me. If you why work with me. And then also it's not clickable, but I also put my contact information in here because if they took time to read this, they may want to get in touch with me right away and they may not want to click back up to the top again. So this way they can just copy and paste. So this is really important and you really don't want to miss this out. And remember when you're updating something in your profile, always hit save. And also just to let you know, I'm I'm a premium member, okay? If you're new at this, you don't need to be a premium member. Just get the basics down and then later on when you're ready to that you want to, network big and you want to kind of start um, reaching out to people and seeing if they're interested in your services in an appropriate way, which I'll discuss later on in this webinar. But that's when you would want to do a trial of the LinkedIn Premium. And, so here's the thing is you want to make sure. So when you're editing your profile, you're always hitting this pencil. So you want to hit this pencil. And I'm going to go very fast just because I want to get everything in. So sorry for talking fast, but you can ask questions at the end. At any rate, you want to make sure you're filling in all your basic information. This is that headline that I showed you. Super, for me, it's LinkedIn Super Ninja. This is where you edit it. And it only allows you, like, if you're going to edit, it only allows you a certain amount of words. So you got to play around with it. That's why I put the little slashes there and there's no spaces. So I was hoping they would tell me the new number, but they're not right now. This number changes but it won't, you'll see it won't, after a while, if you keep on typing, it won't let you anymore. So I forget how many characters that is right now. So put your primary position. My industry is marketing and advertising. My education I put in, location, and contact information. I put my number. Now, a lot of people have issues with doing that. They think they're going to get spam. Believe it or not, I don't get a lot of I get more honestly, I've been getting more text messages from those like politicians and stuff than I've been getting from LinkedIn. I barely get anything here on LinkedIn because there's another thing that they do to where I get my stuff my business from LinkedIn. So I do put my birthday, my website URL is there. So make sure don't miss these things because they're really important. If people are searching and they want to get in touch with you, you want to make it as easy as possible. And so just to let you know that you just want to do that. Okay. Moving down. Okay. I put all this in. Please open up your featured section and put some stuff there. So I have a newsletter called Brand Marketing and Connect, but where you find the featured, if it's not already there, is right over here. You go down to, let's see, recommend right here, and you want to add it. Once you hit add, it's going to go right to my featured, but for you, you're going to actually have to add some featured stuff. So, this, it goes to my featured. I can change them around a lot. I can open them up. So like these are all my featured. I can move testimonials around. And it's absolutely, if you have a video, that's what you want to do. You want to put your video on. So one last thing, and then I'm going to go back to the slide presentation. But basically, what you want to do is make sure, again, all your educate experiences is noted. Don't put that you sold Girl Scout cookies, 500 years ago, or you were a paper girl or a paper boy. No, nobody cares anymore about that. I mean, it's not really part of your resume, but it's a cute story starting off, but it's not something you want to put on there. And I kind of try to keep everything with the social media and my social stuff. So like I've had other jobs. I worked in a hospital for over 8 years. And so I don't have that here, okay? Because it's really not related to my expertise in what I do. Um, the schools I put down that I went to, any licenses and certifications you have, put in there. Any projects that you've worked on, volunteering, and it's funny, every time I like look at this, I always say there's something I have to change. Recommendations, publications, any publications you have, courses that you teach, and etc. Fill it all in. And as you're doing it, there'll be like a meter, and basically you'll want to get all the way up to rock star. So you want to be a rock star and completely fill in your profile. So I hope that actually helps. And then I'm going to go right back to the slide presentation now, and we'll move forward if I can find the slide presentation. Okay. So just a couple more tips here is, again, fill in your profile 100%. Create some, this is, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but create a network strategy, how you're going to network. Create an interesting title. Remember, don't make it about you make it that when a client comes and reads it, they're attracted to you. Feed your network with goodies. We'll talk more about that later. Invite and expand your network always with a personal message. And we'll talk more about that later. Have a group strategy, be visible, start giving recommendations, and you'll receive the same. Be consistent and integrate LinkedIn in your other channels. Before I move on, the one thing I do want to say is when it comes to your LinkedIn profile, so, you want to make sure that you have a URL, a personalized URL. So mine is, LinkedIn slash Lorraine Duncan. Okay. And if I'll show you how to do that at the end. So I want to take 1 minute. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. I want you to put in the chat what you're going to work on. Just as, putting in there, no, everybody sees it, which is great. Just a little accountability and just really quickly type in the chat what you're going to work on. All right. So the next thing that we're going to move on to, hopefully you're putting stuff in the chat. You want to make time and be consistent. I think this is the most important thing. If you're not going to make the time and be consistent, then you should just leave the webinar right now. And I'm serious, because there's no sense of you wasting your time here if you're not going to implement something or do something from this webinar. And so the biggest thing people want to see about you is if you're consistent. So what does that mean? It's like you want to show up daily. Okay. I'm always on LinkedIn. Mostly now, all I'm doing is talking with people that reach out to me. So I'm pretty much controlled by that now when I go onto LinkedIn. And so it's because it's just I've been on LinkedIn for a long time. That's where I'm at in my journey. But in the beginning, you need to show up daily to do something. And, so have a daily intention. Okay, what you're going to do daily on LinkedIn. Spend time, maybe block it out. I recommend, if you have a time when you check your email, that would be the time when you check your LinkedIn. What I do is I go on first in the morning, like what I did this morning. is I went onto my LinkedIn and I answered any inquiries that I get. And then I also went on to LinkedIn. I just before this webinar, just to make sure that, I didn't have any messages that were urgent. So sometimes people do that at lunch. If you check your emails at lunch and then you can just check your LinkedIn really quick. Okay. You want to participate, you know, right on if something really intrigued you, like, this morning I went on and I liked something and made a little comment. So make sure you do that. And also you want to, I want you to take a minute, okay? This is what I want you to do right now. Take a minute, write in the chat one thing that you're going to do. Maybe it's an intention, blocking out a certain time. What I'd like to see is like, what time daily are you going to go on? Now, this isn't going to take hours. This isn't like, when you go on to TikTok and you watch like 1,000 videos, okay? You know, this is just very intentional. I'm going to go on, I'm going to answer somebody, I'm going to participate, I'm going to do something. All right. And now you're probably saying, so just write it in the chat. I want to see some, accountability here. Okay. The next thing is that you want to learn how, let's talk about a little bit about what we should be doing. So you want to learn how to reach out to your target market. Okay. And one of the things is this is what you want to do is you want to reach out and connect with people that could be your potential client. So for me, it's easy. I connect with people. I reach out to people. I try to reach out to about 10 to about 90 a week. And I slow it down a little bit every once in a while. I don't do it all the time. But what I want you to think about is who are your potential clients that would need to see your profile, and then you reach out to them. Okay, what you don't want to do is reach out to them, connect with them, and then spam them right away. Okay, you don't want to do that. LinkedIn for me, and this is for me only, okay, but I think it should be for everybody. It's about creating relationships. I do a lot of in-person networking, and everybody that I network with could be a potential client of mine. I don't want to spam them in a conversation, like, shake their hands and then tell them to buy my stuff. So what you want to do is you do really want to create a relationship, know what they're posting, learn about their business, and then maybe you can reach out at some point after, you've established the relationship and call them or have, schedule a call with them. All right, but you don't want to right away go to the call. I see that all the time. Somebody always wants me to book something on their calendar because they're promising me the sun and the moon and the stars. And honestly, I don't have time in my calendar for that. So you want to be really mindful of who you're connecting with. But don't connect with people in your own business or at your workplace. Okay. Connect with people who could be your potential clients, but don't connect with, like, yes, I have a few social media people that I'm connected with. Those would be like people, you know, who you want to, maybe collaborate, So like for instance, if you're a real estate agent, I'm just going to use that as an example. Who do you want to connect with? Well, it's always good to know some mortgage brokers, right? Establish some relationships, right? Maybe some, staging people, but basically, if you're in real estate, everybody on LinkedIn could possibly be your client. So you could just, maybe today I'm connecting with, bankers or mortgage brokers. And see, these are people that if you establish a relationship, may give you a referral someday. So that's why it's important. So that's just an example. You know, if you're a photographer, you can actually contact event planners, and wedding event planners, or there's or other photographers that don't do the same photography you do. So just, think about that list. You know, think about what they like, and I say that because sometimes you can connect with somebody and you have nothing in common with. And so if you know that, well, this person, I've seen them in person, or I've read some of their posts and they kind of like the same things I do, then it's a real easy connection. There are other people that you can connect with, such as people that you went to school with. University basically is where what you want to really connect with. I connect with a lot of people from Sacred Heart and Northeastern, and so it's a little bit easier for me just, and I don't just connect with anybody from there, but people who we can help each other. So think that in mind is when you're thinking about who to connect with, help, who can I help and can they be beneficial to me too? Because a relationship does work both ways. So take a minute, think of a couple, professions that you'd want to connect with, and then maybe set an intention to reach out to 5 a week in the beginning. Okay, something like that. All right, very important. Okay, yes, you should post. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick little story. Is when I first started on LinkedIn, the rule of thumb was is you only posted once a week. Okay, so I changed that and I really started to grow. Now I took a big sabbatical, so I was off for the summer. I'm just actually getting back into things in the beginning of September. I started getting back into things. So I kind of was silent for a while. And it didn't really hurt me that much just because I've been so visible on LinkedIn for such a long time. However, I will be back, Christmas is coming now and January, and I always have to keep that funnel going. So I will start up. And you want to just make sure that anything you're posting is going to be beneficial to the people in your network, okay, that are reading it, and for the people that LinkedIn decides to show it to. And make sure that that everything's relevant. Don't post, something that won't help somebody. Okay? So what does that mean? I'm big on content that solves a problem. Okay? I have gotten like, I take time to read people's posts on LinkedIn. I've gotten so much great information just by reading somebody else's post. So learn to listen to your network and listen to what people are wanting or needing. And you may not find what they're needing on LinkedIn as much as other platforms. And that's why you should be on the other platforms because you want to have your ears out there. So you just don't want to be on LinkedIn, but you do want to be on social media. And you just don't want to be sitting at your computer all day on social media, but you want to be out there listening to what others need. A big problem in social media, that I solve is the time problem because most people, especially, I work with a lot of baby boomers and they don't really care about social media. They One of the biggest things they care about is they care about ROI. And while ROI is important, if nobody knows you exist, you're not going to have ROI either. So the problem, big problem I solve is I help you with time, where I give you time to do what you're passionate about while I do what I'm passionate about. So think about what content you can post that solves a problem. In the past, I've posted stuff about SEO and why it's important, why having a website is important. A lot of people, they don't have a website, and social media can't be your website because the rules of social media can change daily. So you just want to, make sure that you're solving that problem. Okay, and this is unbelievable. Can everybody hear me? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, we can. No
All right.
problem.
Okay, sorry about that. It seemed like something went wrong. Okay. I just want to share some things that you can share on LinkedIn, just videos, articles, blog posts. The newsletter feature is amazing. And that's more advanced, and I'm not going to get into that. The reason I like the newsletter feature on LinkedIn is that when you post a newsletter or a blog post, you can actually post your blog post on your website and then repurpose the content onto LinkedIn. And everybody that you're connected to will actually, it will be, there'll be an email in their inbox that you just posted a blog post. So it's just another way to get through. And you can reach out to me if you want to learn more about the newsletter feature. This is other things that people um, share, tips and advice. I really like that. Activities, events, pictures and videos, articles, what they do and are. I've seen that like where they'll give a little summary of themselves and it's in a video form. And discussions, they'll actually ask a question and they also give recommendations. So those are what people share and do on LinkedIn. Take 1 minute. Think of one kind of post that you're going to post. Put it in the chat. When I get off the slides, I'm actually going to glance down the chat to see exactly what everybody posted. Okay, so take a minute, do that. Accepting connections that make sense is my next topic. I kind of alluded to this before, but if I connect to all LinkedIn experts, and I'm connected to 3 LinkedIn experts because these people are the best. And so I want to be connected with the best. So basically, what you want to do is you want to really, when somebody asks for a connection, what did they do? Did they do the can thing? Look at their profile, have a criteria. I have a criteria that they have to at least have like a anywhere from 50 to 100, connections. I worry sometimes about when people want to connect with me in the same field only because are they going to spam all my connections? And I'm an open networker, so I connect with everyone. And you could be choosy. You can only connect with people you know, but I connect with people I don't know because I have clients all over the USA. So that's basically what I do. So potential clients and also for just think collaboration too. So many times I've connected with people to collaborate with them, and it works really, really well. So I really highly recommend you think about also who you can collaborate with too. All right, take a minute, think of one person that you want to connect with. And then again, reach out to connections. I kind of covered this in the last little section, but you want to just reach out to people that make sense too. So, in other words, accept invitations that make sense and reach out to people that make sense. And always ask yourself, does this make sense? Is this a good person that I should be, and look at their activity. Look to see what they're doing. Look to see if they're posting. Look to see if their posts are very intelligent and relevant and they're helpful. Okay, look at their profile, see their experience and background. All right, don't connect. This is the biggest rule ever. If you can learn one thing from me, don't connect with just everyone. We just had trick or treat. Don't trick or treat for connections, okay? Be selective. All right. And then don't connect with people to spam them. Nothing I hate more is when I just connect with somebody, then they spam me with 3 paragraphs. First of all, I don't read it. Sometimes I block them and then I go to block somebody, you actually have to go to their profile and then block them from there. Okay, so that's how you do that. And I no longer because that means if they spam me, they're going to spam people in my network. All right. And always give a reason for connecting. When I reach out to somebody, I mean, I'll say, "Hey, I met you at the Chamber of Commerce meeting today, and we really had an interesting." Sometimes I even say we had an interesting conversation. I talking about X, Y, and Z, and honestly, I'd just like to connect with you here on, and don't say honestly, but I'd just like to connect with you on, you know, LinkedIn. I mean, just be casual. Don't use that canned one everybody does. I hate when I get a canned message. So when you want to connect with me, because maybe some of you don't have 50 connections, just say you were on the SCORE webinar today and you'd like to connect with me, and that's all you really have to say. Okay, but if you give me the canned one, I'm not going to connect with you. All right, so make sure you do that. All right, take 1 minute, think about, the connect who you want to connect with and your message that you're going to give to them. that one person. All right, some growth hacks, some things that I've learned over the years. How to succeed on LinkedIn. Don't approve connections that and do nothing else. Okay. So it's kind of like, so if you approve a connection, reach out to them. Thanks for connecting with me. If there's anything that I can do, or if you ever want to have a conversation, give me a call. You can do that. Not give me a call, but let's connect here. That's kind of a little bit fast, but you can say, hey, just thank you for connecting with me, just so you had, reach out. What I do sometimes, and I do it probably more if there's a great, so like Forbes business actually always has great articles for business. So I sometimes will give, when I connect with somebody, thanks for connecting. Here's a great article for people that are in your profession that might be very helpful. And it's from Forbes. So they'll open it and read it. And sometimes they have questions and they'll reach back out. So take time, spend the time to learn how LinkedIn can be best used for you. Use all the functions, tools, and services. And wait on the whole premium and sales navigator. It's very expensive, and they do give you a trial, and basically you want to be ready for that trial so you want to have all your ducks in a row when that happens. And then you want to put up some goals and a content plan for what you want to post. Okay. So I didn't talk much about this, but have a group strategy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but there's over 2.1 million groups. Okay. And so a couple groups that you might want to think of joining is like people who have been your clients. You want to join a group that has other people like that person. All right. Some networking groups you might want to join, some customer groups, okay? Or you can start your own group, but I recommend not to start your own group. Join another group and then get used to the navigation of joining groups, okay? And then that's it. I'm gonna leave, I figured this is the time to leave everything for uh, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, this is the time for question and answers. I wanted to leave some time for that, so I can answer thoroughly.
Okay, very well. So if you've got a question, I ask that you put it into the question and answer feature on the bottom of your screen. I will moderate those questions. So we'll get started. Um, One of the questions that we have is the difference between a relevant message and spam. Throughout your presentation, you don't like people. Could you just give our audience a little bit more details in terms of how you define relevant message versus spam?
Yeah, so to me, relevant content is, of course, something that is of the day. Okay, so me posting for social media, I would post something is really, it's like, have you have you like audited your website lately? Or people coming to it? Here are some tools that you can use to do that. So that's relevant content. And then there's something in there that will help with the website. Spam is, I have this great tool and it costs 19.99, and you're going to really miss out if you don't buy it now. And that's that for a post. Spam, when you're connecting with somebody, is giving them three paragraphs. One paragraph of what you're doing, who you are, I should say, one paragraph of what you're selling, and then the next paragraph is a link in it. And you just connected with the person. That's spam. And you see a lot of spammy stuff all over the place. It's like a lot of the stuff is sponsored. That's spam, but that's the nature of the business. That's the idea of, it's like you target people, and I didn't even talk about targeting, and then all of a sudden you get, like think about it, Google bass guitars, okay? And then for the next 10 weeks, all you're going to do is get stuff on bass guitars. However, you asked for that. So that's an interest. You like bass guitars. That's why you Googled it. But you never thought in a million, that you were ever going to get so many spam messages, and to give you a bigger example of that is that's how people do business. Okay. So yeah, spam is there and I try not to as much as can. I do. I mean, I do. Here's my principle, and I didn't even share this. I do about 80% real good content that's going to help somebody grow their business without even having to buy anything from me. 20% of my content is, and sometimes it's actually 10%. Like I'll do something on Black Friday with everybody else. Okay. And just to put something out there. But then I do something later on and it's about 15%. So you just don't want to be that person that always is doing buy, buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You really want to give them something more, because what is like so great about working with Lorraine Duncan? Well, it's fun to work with Lorraine Duncan because she caters to you. She'll give you what you want and need, okay? Not what you buy from her, okay? And so think about how you want to be known online. And that's kind of I mean, I hope that answers the question. Other people have other things of spam too that they'll say that's spam. The constant quotes and stuff, but to me, that's not spam. Actually, I really enjoy the quotes.
Okay, excellent. Our next question is, I go back and forth about whether to have a business LinkedIn profile versus a personal profile that has been serving as my business LinkedIn. Do I need a business LinkedIn profile?
Okay. So I used to I if you watch one of my old webinars, I probably had a whole different answer. So I was just using my personal profile for my business, and that's what I get everything through. Okay. However, I do have a business profile. And the reason I do, this is the most silliest reason ever, but it makes sense to me to do it. Not somebody, I should say, I get emails from LinkedIn, okay, like the people at LinkedIn, and they like give you updates of what tools going to be updated, what they're going to be adding, blah blah blah. And about a year and a half ago, I know it was last year sometime, so maybe or at the end of 2022, they started talking about how they were going to make LinkedIn business profiles more relevant, and that they were going to start, um, you know, benefiting somebody who has a business profile. And so I then started, I always had a business profile, but I mean, what I say, the thing is that you're growing two things, okay? Because you don't want to have a business profile with 0 followers. And I don't have very many business followers, okay? But I have a lot of personal followers. And every once in a while, I go to the business profile and I'll invite about 100 people from my personal profile connections to that. So basically, you're making more work for yourself, but I still haven't seen the difference yet. Okay. So my personal opinion, do you need to do it? No. Should you, if you're posting content daily, should you do it? Yes, just in case somebody does go to your business profile. All right. If you don't have one, maybe it's not, maybe it's not going to make a difference, but I didn't want to be not having one when LinkedIn said it was important. So this is from LinkedIn. This is not from me. So I'm going to go with that answer. Do I spend a lot of time on the LinkedIn business profile? No. And if you're just starting out, I don't recommend you doing it, but maybe you do it because then you can grow it at the same time. But basically you're growing two things. So that's a personal choice, but I just, I think there was something where I saw that you have to have a certain amount of business connections. And I think that, like I said, I just want to have the presence as a business too. So that's my answer to that. And I'm sticking to it.
Excellent, thank you. Our next question, what should I do when some of the places that I have worked at in the past have gone out of business? Their logos no longer show up in my work history, so they look like fake listings.
Right. Well, nobody can take experience away from you. So I think that when you have the company name, I don't have anything on mine that does that. Although BizGo on Social will do that now because I actually made my business another name. But what I say is make sure it's in the summary of that business too, like your experience, or you can take it off. You just don't want to have a gap. So never good to show a huge gap. I've never been a like there. You've got to be able to prove something in that gap, or kind of makes it look like you weren't working, and maybe you weren't. So then in that case, just put one thing for now, your current, and sometimes the current is okay, just the current. All right, so you got to make the choice. But I know that there's some like in the experience section, I know that there's like little like yeah, like so you can put, what exactly it is, what you did. And then you can also make sure you fill in your skills and put your skills in, and then just put one. I once went through somebody's and there was a huge gap. There was like three jobs, and then there was a huge gap, and then there were three other jobs, and the other three other jobs weren't relevant. If it's relevant, you're still putting the time started to the time ended. So if like it doesn't look like I even have an education because my grammar school closed and my kindergarten closed and one of my colleges closed. So the bottom line is that where did I go to school? It's like, did I even go to school? So that happens. Businesses go out of business. So, I mean, if it's relevant to what you do now, and, if you worked for IBM, for instance, you want to put that in. Now, IBM is still around, but say they closed. Okay. So you want to have that in.
Very good. Next question, kind of related to the prior one. How do you handle the embarrassment of failing in a previous business and then relaunching something else online? The fear of being seen as a person who's always starting something new.
I think it's awesome. For instance, I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like, nobody who had a successful business was perfect, and that you learn so much from failing. So there is no embarrassment. Mostly if you're on LinkedIn and you have one of your companies on there and it no longer exists, and then you move on to your newer company, I'm not, when I look at a profile, I'm not thinking, oh gosh, look at this, they failed. Nobody's thinking of that. They're just kind of looking to say, are you a real person? Did you actually, work? Then if they Google the company and said, oh, it went out of business, it could be a number of reasons why it went out of business. So I don't think you should be embarrassed. I mean, failure is good. I mean, I can count on two hands how many times I've failed. So, I mean, failure happens and it's a good thing. So don't be embarrassed. And, if somebody says something, as long as they don't write something when they connect with you or something, and you don't have to connect with them. The people who want to work with you, believe it or not, the people who want to work with you are going to work with you, and even former clients that maybe you're doing something similar. There's some clients that I brought over from another company I worked for, that followed me and they work for me. And, it's way past the non-compete clause. So you don't really have to worry about that.
Excellent. A technical question. Is there a way to create events on LinkedIn or share events on LinkedIn? I am
Yes,
an event planner and would love to share my upcoming events on my business profile.
yes, and this is amazing. I have time because it's 12:48, so I am gonna actually share how to do this because it's kind of cool. Let me see if I can, is this the one I want to do? All right. So can everybody see my screen? Just say yes. So, oh dear, did I do
We
that?
could a moment ago. You need to go back.
All right. So can everybody
Yep.
see my screen? Okay.
Yep.
So basically what you want to do is go to this home button where the house is. You want to go down And there's this little thing called events. You go into here and then you hit create an event. Have all the details ready. Make sure you have a nice picture and everything. The cool thing about this, I can't do this, I can't show it to you. However, the cool thing about this, as you after you create it, okay, and put yourself as the speaker. So, like if you hit Lorraine Duncan, right? Lorraine will come in as a speaker. Okay. Description, make it client attractive, date, start time, end time. Okay. And then you're going to hit next. Okay. And I do a lot of online stuff. So mine's online. If it's in person, you do this. Okay. And then the event has a name. Make sure you have a nice, catchy title for the name. And then you want to put the address of the event if it's in person. The cool thing about this feature, and hopefully I'll be able to show it from an older thing. So I'm discarding that. This was an older webinar that I gave. And will it let me do it? Hopefully they will. No, they won't. So, oh, let me see if I can do it here. All right, so see these two buttons? After you create the event, these two buttons are the most important thing. And in here, either in share or in manage, it will you can it will say invite attendees. So that's where, like, say you're hosting something for real estate, or say you're hosting something for event event planners, okay? Then basically you would go into this invite attendees. Like in this case, you know, they were already invited. Okay. So the bottom line is that you can invite them, and it comes in where that invite comes in is where this little bell is. And they'll see that they got invited to something. And if people check their notifications, if it interests the event interests them, they'll say they're coming. Now, the key to doing this the right way is that make sure you follow up. So if it's a Zoom meeting, the day before, I always send, just I say, for a matter of convenience, here's the Zoom link, because nobody's ever going to go back to this event. So anybody who said they were going to come, even if it's a personal, in-person event, basically you need to follow up and resend them the address closer to the date. So I hope that helps. You can always contact me and I'll walk you through it. I'm going to be doing some events. I just don't have my graphics all done for that. Or I would have shown everybody how it really actually works. It's really great. Okay.
You've got enough about customer service requests when you first start a LinkedIn, when you're new to the platform.
I didn't hear the first part of the question.
What does it mean when you receive a customer service request? I get them almost every day, but I ignore them since I'm fairly new to the platform.
All right. So that could be, let me just go to my thing again. Let's get this open. All right. Maybe I'm not gonna go off anymore. So all right. So in here, oh, let's just see messaging. Okay. I believe the message, does the customer just say yes or no and then tell me what they say? Because I can't see the chat anymore. Yes or no, does it come in here, your customer service request?
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, see, if you notice, if you look through my stuff, I don't get any customer service requests at all. And I don't think I get this via my service page. I get an in-mail, but I've never gotten a customer service event. So honestly, I was hoping maybe I would have. I can't speak to that. I apologize, and I will get you an answer. So again, you can feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Tell me you're the customer service person, and I'll get you an answer from LinkedIn. Is that fair?
That sounds very, very good. Let me go to the next question. Can you explain more about what it means to have impressions on something posted versus getting likes?
Okay. It's kind of easy. So I'm just gonna look at Podmatch right now because they're here. Um, so oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do that. So an impression is basically that when it's posted and all through it being there, you get a certain amount of impressions. And that means that that's the potential of people or what can be seen or who could have seen it. With a like, somebody's actually hitting the like and they're engaging. Okay. Now if this was something cool, if it was like if I was on these pictures, I would repost it. Okay. Or if there's somebody on here that I knew, I would actually say, oh, this is cool. Congratulations at so and so. But an impression doesn't really count for a whole lot, but it is important because if you're having zero impressions on your profile, that means that nobody's seeing anything. All right. So make sure you're always engaging so you're helping other people. And the more the more people see your posts, sometimes to get your impressions up, you can actually when you're posting, and this is kind of considered spam, but maybe you want certain people to see it. So at the end, see this paragraph, here it is, blah, 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 blah. You could put at Lorraine Duncan, at Susie Q, at whatever. And I know there's this PR person who does that all the time, and she's very successful. That she gets high impressions and high engagements. So when somebody's liking a post, that's considered engagement. If somebody comments in the post, it's an engagement plus one. It means that LinkedIn really rates it. Now, they've been actually, so this summer at some point, LinkedIn changed that a little bit and said they were going to give some points. I don't know how they score everything. I don't know how it changes so much, but I know that they said that they were going to value contributors that actually get high impressions. Whether that changed or not, I read an article. LinkedIn sends, make sure you sign up for LinkedIn's newsletter because they give you all the updates, which is really cool. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you. Another question. How does someone find you on LinkedIn? For example, is it a search within LinkedIn or a Google search or what?
No, you go to LinkedIn and you just type in my name. Okay. If you're looking for someone, if if I'm looking for, I don't know, I'll type in um John, I don't know, somebody, Marshall. Okay. And he's a connection of mine. So then I'll view his profile and I'll do it like that. So I do everything through the search bar, you know, which reminds me, if you're looking for real estate agents, for instance, so just type in any profession and watch what happens. I didn't get to show anybody this, so I'll show it now. So it will tell you all the posts. And then if you go to people, it will tell you the results. Okay. And look, 1 million. So there's not, if you need to connect with real estate agents, they're there. Okay. And then you just connect, and I always add a note. If you're not a premium member, I think you only get like one or two notes. Okay. But here's an interesting thing. Google is very much to, um, related to LinkedIn. So if I type in Lorraine Duncan, look what comes up first for me. Now, because it's me and I've typed this in before to show that you do come in, okay, come in first, okay? Um, but usually your LinkedIn profile, like if I was searching, let's just pick somebody. A lot of times, depending, like if your website's going, but look, Third, LinkedIn. If your website is tracking for SEO, then your website's going to come up first, okay? When you type in somebody's name, their website will come in first, and then LinkedIn. So look how, if you're looking for somebody on LinkedIn, and if they're on LinkedIn, you either go for the search bar or you go to Google. Okay?
Excellent. Thank you very much, Lorraine. That's all the questions we have time for today. Could you just repeat for our audience how to get a hold of you and get in touch with you?
Yeah, you could just get in touch with me through my LinkedIn page. Also, I have a free gift for everybody that attended here and stayed to the end. And now watch, it's not going to let me do it now. It's not going to let me do it, so I can't do it. Um, but on the end of my slides, just contact me if you want the free gift because it's just like a little PDF that tells you what to do every day on LinkedIn to grow.
Sounds
Um, and then so LinkedIn, or you can text me at 203 515 8465. And please tell me you're from the SCORE webinar so I have a context to where you're from. Okay?
excellent. As a reminder, a recording of this webinar and the materials will be available within the next day or so on our website under On-Demand Webinars. Our next live webinar is Tuesday, November 19th at noon, and the topic is 12 Steps to a Successful Business with Cliff and Nico presenting. Look for the specifics on the fairfieldcounty.score.org website. Once again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen or visit our website and click Request a Mentor. Also, please fill out the evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending and staying until the end. And Lorraine, thank you very, very much for the very informative webinar. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.